Well, here we are on day 3. I wonder how you're getting on your journey to Bethlehem. I thought today we might have a look at the word Christmas. It does not occur anywhere in the Bible. It's an Old English word that means Christ's Mass, which refers to the celebration of Holy Communion, also known as the Eucharist or the Lord's Supper. We all know Christmas Day is an annual commemoration of the birth of Jesus. And dating back to as early as AD 200, the celebration did not really become widespread until the Middle Ages. The earliest occurrence of the word Christmas is around 1038 AD. The Eucharist, the Mass, was considered by Christians to be the most important part of the celebration of Christ's birth. So it became known as the Christ Mass, to distinguish it from other masses, other Holy Communions. Early Christians celebrated this holiday on January the 6th, and today our brothers and sisters across the Middle East in the Arab Orthodox tradition celebrate it on January the 6th as well, 12 days after we do. Efforts to assign a date for Jesus' birth began some centuries later, but date wrangling aside, what is it we know of the place and the circumstances of Jesus' birth? Well, let's begin with the Gospel according to St. Luke. This is the account of Jesus' life written for you and me. We're the outsiders, if you like, as there were outsiders then. And we, living in the here and now, are so far removed sometimes we forget that his birth was placed in history. St. Luke begins his Gospel with the words, "Many have undertaken to draw up an account of the things that have been fulfilled among us, just as they were handed down to us by those who were from the first eyewitnesses and servants of the word." With this in mind, since I myself have carefully investigated everything from the beginning, I too decided to write an orderly account for you, most excellent Theophilus, so that you may know the certainty of the things you've been taught. In the time of Herod, king of Judea, there was a priest named Zechariah, who belonged to the priestly division of Abijah, his wife Elizabeth, also a descendant of Aaron. Both of them righteous in the eyes of God, observing all the Lord's commands and decrees blamelessly, but they were childless. Elizabeth was not able to conceive, and they were both very old. Of course, we know the rest. Elizabeth conceives this geriatric mother. Zechariah is struck dumb until he declares him to be John, and John becomes the voice of the one crying in the wilderness, "Prepare the way of the Lord." Luke then sets the birth of Jesus firmly within secular history. At the beginning of the Gospel we hear each year, just at Christmas, he says, "In those days Caesar Augustus issued a decree that a census should be taken of the entire Roman world, and this was the first census that took place while Qurinius was governor of Syria, and everyone went to their own town to register. So Joseph went up from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to Bethlehem, to the town of David, because he belonged to the house and line of David." So Luke sets the history very firmly, and we're told Quirinius was governor of Syria, Caesar Augustus was in power, and Herod the Great was in charge of Judea. There is no doubting that this history is important. For we who are so far removed 2,000 years later from this birth, questions arise as to whether this little baby existed at all. Well, we know the time, we know the place, and we know the circumstances. So whenever we celebrate, be it the 25th of December or the 6th of January, it matters not. For we remember that God slipped quietly in to live amongst us, Emmanuel, as a set time and a place in history. And we ask this year especially, in the mixture of our political doubt and future uncertainties and illness of the world within which we live, its planet and its people, we ask that we might have the eyes to see this baby, this God, this love slip quietly alongside us as we journey on to Bethlehem, O little town of Bethlehem.
O little town of Bethlehem, how still we see thee lie, above thy deep and dreamless sleep, the silent stars go by. Yet in the dark streets shineth the everlasting light. The hopes and fears of all the years are met in thee tonight. O morning stars together proclaim the holy birth, and praises sing to God the King, and peace to all on earth. For Christ is born of Mary, and gathered all above. While mortals sleep, the angels keep their watch of wondering love. How silently the wondrous gift is given. So God imparts to human hearts the blessings of his hand. No ear may hear his coming, but in this world of sin, where meek souls will receive him, still the dear Christ enters in. O holy child of Bethlehem, descend to us, we pray. Cast out our sin and enter in, be born in us today. We hear the Christmas angels the great glad tidings tell. Oh, come to us, abide with us, our Lord Emmanuel.